So recently I got an email about being invited to the creator program hosted by Exoborne, and I had no idea what the heck Exoborne was, and I figured I'd make a video on this game to talk to you guys about it because I don't think they've really advertised much about this game beyond the content creator space, which hopefully takes a turn the closer they get to actually releasing this game. So with my curiosity piqued, I joined the developers Discord server and checked out their website. You can never be too careful these days, especially after the day before scam fiasco, and it turns out the developer and publisher of Exoborne is Sharkmob AB, a duo studio based in Sweden and in the UK, and they're actually the company behind Vampire the Masquerade Blood Hunt Battle Royale game, which I felt like was a bit of an underrated game in today's hyper-competitive gaming marketplace. Of note is that Sharkmob was acquired by TenCent Games back in 2019, and among the many layoffs in the gaming industry last year, TenCent had laid people off from Sharkmob London studio, which doesn't seem to have stopped this game Exoborne from being marketed. So let's get into what the game actually is. So on the Steam page, which on which you can request access for the playtest, even if you're not a content creator, and also you can add it to your wish list. Exoborne is described as an open world tactical extraction shooter set in a world torn apart by extreme forces of nature. Customize powerful exo rigs to gain strategic advantage in ever-changing weather conditions, face hostile factions, enemy players, and Mother Nature herself in intense high-stakes sessions. So if you go through the website a little bit, it kind of tells you a little bit more about the story. Get out in Exoborne, an open world shooter. You're gonna have to basically survive this world where it was destroyed by humanity's attempt to essentially control the weather, control the climate, and you'll be able to, during instances or missions, to control some localized weather, including creating fog or creating tornadoes with taking over certain buildings that do help with the, controlling of the weather. So over here, it also says that you're going to be synergizing with your exo rig, and exo rigs are essentially suits that you put on, which can give you different types of loadouts or benefits and so forth, like, booster packs. I think I'm getting a lot of marathon vibes here, especially with their rehack thing, which is described as the Exoborne ARG, alternate reality game. It's basically something kind of fun and head scratcher for the community that's starting to gather around Exoborne and trying to figure out the puzzles, which will lead to more content being released. So kind of basically what Bungie did with Marathon when they released some cryptic puzzles. So yeah, apart from that, that's really all we know. There is actual gameplay, probably the most prominent one being uploaded by YouTuber Jack Frags, who showcased a bit of Exoborne. And based on developer diary and developer discussion of Exoborne I did watch, I have to say that Exoborne is quite a risky venture right now, as extraction shooters are held up by an even smaller demographic than the MMORPG crowd, especially in a time where live service games are being so cautiously avoided by big names like Sony due to, the financial risk. Probably the only thing that sticks out to me so far, just kind of combing through what we know about Exoborne and the gameplay that was showcased by Jack Frags, is probably going to be the potential verticality in Exoborne compared to, let's say, Escape from Tarkov, where it's not third person, but it's in first person and you're mainly on the ground rather than this whole crazy thing where it seems to have borrowed a lot of inspiration from, the previous game that Sharkmob did, Blood Hunt, which is also a third person battle royale, whereas this is more of a third person extraction shooter. So probably that is the only thing that stuck out to me so far, the potential verticality, the movement. I think based on the movement gameplay that I really did enjoy in Blood Hunt, I'm probably going to enjoy some of that in this game. Although, again, that is the only thing that stuck out to me. Everything else kind of seemed pretty generic. There wasn't really anything that got me excited, like, whoa, oh my god, it's Exoborne, or oh, it's kind of like, oh, another extraction shooter attempt. So we'll kind of see how that goes as more development updates are pushed, and maybe I can get into playtest and get more video footage for you guys, and maybe you guys can discuss amongst yourselves with me what this game might shape out to be like. So yeah, that's really it. We don't really know anything else much about Exoborne, and to be fair, we also know a lot less than this about Bungie's rehashing of the Marathon IP as an extraction shooter. So Exoborne seems to be the closest and next big competitor in this specific market of extraction shooters, and maybe it might definitely be something to keep an eye on. So let me know down in the comments below if you want me to keep up with this and give you guys some updates. But if you enjoyed this brief coverage of Exoborne, definitely do subscribe to the channel for more videos like this, where we are going to be exploring even more games this year in 2025. I really appreciate you guys and your time. Thank you so much for watching. And yes, side note, it is not going to be just a PC specific game. It is going to be available on the Xbox Series X and S and PS5. Not sure if they're going to include the last gen as well. And that's it. All right. Thanks for watching.
Hi, I'm Brindley Gibson, the executive producer for Exoborne. And here we have a few of our devs hard at work crafting the game. We can't wait for you to play it, but till then, let's hear a bit more about it.
Exoborne is a PvPvE extraction shooter set in the United States after a climate disaster has destroyed the entire world. You are a reborn, a warrior without a master, and you need to scavenge, craft and fight to stay alive. Not only do you need to fight hostile factions and enemy players, you also need to fight Mother Nature herself. To be able to survive Mother Nature and the strong force of nature, you can craft an exo-rig. In this exo-rig, you can customize and specialize to be able to create your playstyle.
Exoborne takes place in a fictional place called Colton County. That's on the east coast of the United States. As a reborn, you arrive here being summoned by a character named Tar. He's the leader of the Reborn Rebellion. Your main enemy is a group called Rebirth. They caused this big disaster by the use of these geoengineering terraforming towers that you might have seen in the gameplay footage. When Rebirth turned these towers against us, they unleashed these cataclysmic storms, basically tearing the world apart. And these forces of nature imprint on the gameplay. You have to act and react to that every time you play. On top of that, we have hostile factions and friendly factions. Hostile factions are bandits, like the Nord and the Bodkin. They're objectively evil and there to kill everything they see. Then you have the good factions, the ones you want to work for, the Alpha, the Sovereign, and the Potluck. And they are the ones you do missions for, and they are the ones that carry the plot forward in the game.
Listen, I could use your help.
So the player needs to enter the world and find valuable loot. That's kind of like the main objective. When you do that, there's other people looking for the same thing. So not all reborn are good guys. There's some that turn bad, and basically you can never trust anyone. So anybody can attack you at any point. And in the world, there's gonna be enemy factions trying to defend those valuable areas. And the more dangerous areas will have more dangerous enemies. The main goal would be to enter the rebirth facilities where the most dangerous and most valuable loot exists, but then also it has the hardest enemies and the most difficult encounters in the game.
Exoborne is, of course, an exo-rig fantasy game. And what an exo-rig gives you is to make you stronger, faster, and tougher than a normal human being.
The exo-rig was originally a tool of construction, made to build the towers and the infrastructure that was going to save mankind. But in the rebellion, they turned them into weapons. So now, as you play, you're not just going to use it to navigate and survive Mother Nature's fury and the storms and the tornadoes. You're also going to enhance it as a weapon platform. So it allows you to use specific abilities like shields or body armor, but you can also call in airstrikes, you can do scans, you can modify it with various mods, for example, enhance the amount of inventory and cargo you can carry. So in a game where you are what you carry, your exo-rig is what defines you as a character.
Something that makes me incredibly excited about Exoborne is the way we're embracing our apocalyptic forces of nature. These aren't just stunning vistas that make the game look different every time you play. They really do affect how the game works and what you have to do in each session.
The most exciting for me with Exoborne is to be able to create a playground for players, to create a world, to create this experience for everyone to have fun in.